Hi everyone, welcome to video 4 where we're organizing our course content before things get too crazy in the semester. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one because filling out the survival guide worksheet will really help streamline your process in terms of what information you need and what you're supposed to do this semester. I think it'll be really helpful, so let's get started. So what I want you to remember is that the semester typically goes like this. It works in peaks and valleys. And when we hit that peak, it can be really overwhelming, especially with all the information we have. If you're taking 5 courses, if you're taking 3 or 1, it doesn't matter. With everything going online, I feel like you guys might struggle just a bit with sorting through all that information, and I don't want you to get into a state of overwhelm, and I certainly don't want you to feel like you don't know where to start. So this video really focuses on getting your course content organized and really kind of accessible, so when you know those peaks are coming and that you have a lot in the coming week or the coming weeks, you know exactly what you need to do and where you can go if you start feeling that sense of overwhelm. So remember that your course outline is kind of like your go-to document. Your instructor, professor is going to put everything you need to know in there, which is really great. So they give you the direction of where you're starting and where you're heading. They give you the vehicle. So these are like your assessment of how you're going to get there. So how are you doing the work? They're going to talk about your assessments. They're going to talk about their expectations. They're going to talk about the way that they want you to communicate with them and their expectations around that. And then they're telling you exactly where you end up. Really interesting to me though, in my experience, that students don't spend a lot of time reading their course outlines. So what I want to do, a learning strategy, is to be able to write things out. That's why I made the survival guide worksheet for you guys to do this. And I've just organized it in a way where you're just putting kind of like the minimal, most important information down. So when those times of that overwhelm is coming and those peaks in the semester are coming, you know exactly kind of like, it's almost like a shortcut to the most important information. And then of course, keep your course outlines close because they're going to have all the details in it. You're going to want to list things like you want to know your professor's name. You want to know what course this information is for. Things like how to contact your professor. So if you have a question, or if you need something like an extension, you know how to connect, you know the kind of the time that your professor has set out in terms of a response rate. So really know those kinds of things as you go through the worksheet. There's lots of different probes there for you. Another part of the worksheet, if you look on the next page to this, you'll see that there's a place for you to write out what is your extension policy, or is there one in the first place, because there might not be. What I wanted to highlight here is the style of class. A style of class is like the types of learning you'll be expected of. So this is how your instructor has set up how they expect you to consume the course content and the information. Maybe it could be synchronous. So synchronous is when it's live, everybody learns together, and that means you have a certain course date or course time that you need to show up for because that's when the consumption of information is happening. Asynchronous is the opposite of that. That means that it's not live. Maybe there's a time frame. Maybe everything happens within the course of the week, and that's how your semester is organized. So that may be, you might have maybe every week the content's released on Monday, and then your deadline is on Friday, and you have to get your work done by then. So asynchronous is a different type of learning. It's not live. Lots of times there's a mix of the two. So really look at your course outline and listen to your professor when they talk about what style of consumption they're talking about and expect you to engage in for the semester. Self-directed is when you get everything at once and you can kind of self-pace yourself throughout the content in the semester. And then drip content is a mix between typically synchronous and asynchronous. And that's when the professor instructor releases information, so course content, at set times throughout the semester. So what I do a drip. I release every second Monday of the month, and students have 2 weeks to complete whatever it is that we're doing. So just know that these are the 4 main styles of learning, the 4 main styles of consumption. Usually a course can be or may be a mixture of all of them. So just really sort that out. That's going to help organize your course content, and then you kind of know what your professors are expecting, and they're probably, all your courses are going to look a little bit different. So use the worksheet to help you organize this stuff, because it'll be really helpful. And so after you go through that worksheet, know that it's set up for a 5-course semester. So if you're not taking 5 courses, you only have to fill out that individual course form once. And then once you're done that, print it out if you can, because making online learning tangible is a really good technique to stay kind of motivated and to feel connected. So anytime you can print stuff out where your budget allows, you can really gain a lot of benefit for that, especially if you're doing like readings or something. It would be really helpful for you to print your readings out if you can. If not, and you're on a tight budget, I highly recommend printing out this guide, and at the very least, just print out your course outlines, because those are kind of the most important documents that'll help guide you through the semester and really cut through that overwhelm, because all the information you need is going to be right in there. Biggest piece of advice I can give you is start with small, simple steps. This is something else that comes from Jim's book on learning, and just break things down for yourself. So don't try to do a big assignment all at once, or don't try and just jump right into 5 courses all at once. Take small, simple steps, break it down for yourself. Remind yourself to be calm, but also to be kind to yourself, because all this stuff, when you look at it altogether, can be overwhelming. But if you just break it down into small, simple steps for yourself, you're more likely to complete the tasks, and you'll start to pick away at the tasks that you need to do. Okay, so our survival tip recap. Remember, make online learning tangible when you can. So whether that's using this worksheet, which I really recommend you do, or printing out your course outlines, anytime you can print anything out, if your budget allows, that'll be really helpful for you. And then when you print out, say you just print out maybe this worksheet, or maybe you're just printing out your course outlines, make sure you're putting those in a really accessible spot, so when those peaks in the semester come, you can really access that information easily. It's all streamlined and organized for you, and that's going to cut through the overwhelm if you kind of start feeling like you're getting to that state. The other thing, take small, simple steps. It's a great way to break down a bigger project or a bigger task without getting kind of too involved with the whole procrastination or lack of motivation. Just start in a really simple way. The smaller kind of steps you can take, the better, and that'll help get you kind of a little bit of momentum and moving in the right direction in terms of completing your assignments. Also, be kind to yourself. It's a whole new way of learning for all of us. So if you're being kind to your professors and your classmates, that's great. But remember that you're important too. And really be kind to yourself, and give yourself some leeway when you're learning new things and when you're learning to consume information in this different way. So cheers. I hope you guys found this helpful. I'll see you in the next video.